يثبت الله الذين آمنوا بالقول الثابت في الحياة الدنيا وفي الآخرة.
So no problem. You could hold the view that Ibn Qudama held the view that the Ash'ara al-Bid'ah. No problem. I hold the view of Imam Safarin that they're not from al-Bid'ah. They're from Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, generally speaking. Because like I said, Aqidah is general and it's comprehensive. And the general framework is that the Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, the Ash'ara and the Maturidiyah and Athariyah are inclusive of that. Generally speaking.
This is the Aqidah of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, of the Sahaba, Aima Arba, the Muhaddithun, the Fuqaha, the Mufassirun, the Mutakallimun, and the Nudar, from Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam all the way to Ulama Deobandi. This is the Aqidah.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wassalatu wassalamu ala man arsalahu Allahu rahmatan lil alameen, Sayyidina wa Nabiyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi والتابعين لهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين أما بعد. Brothers and sisters, this is the second episode in reply to Sheikh Muhammad Yasir's accusation, claims that what he is calling to is madhab al-salaf, and the slandering and the criticism in which he has directed towards Imam min A'immat al-Sunnah, Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah, inshallah, which we will reply back to in the upcoming episodes, inshallah ta'ala. As you guys have heard right now, he mentioned the evidences that he will provide. He will bring it from the Kitab and the Sunnah, and that he will also bring it from the Sahaba and the A'immatul Arba'ah, and he will also bring it from Ahlul Kalam, the Mutakallimin. He clearly said that. I want to shine some light, inshallah ta'ala, in what is the view of Ahlul Sunnah regarding Ahlul Kalam. And what's very sad is that you mention the Kitab and the Sunnah and then the Sahabas, and then you mention the A'immatul Arba'ah, and then you mention next to the A'immatul Arba'ah the Mutakallimin. The four A'immatul Arba'ah were unanimously in agreement that Ahlul Kalam are Ahlul Ahwa'i wal Bid'ah, that the people of Kalam are none other than people of innovation and corruption and desires. Al-Kalam, Ahlul Kalam means people who have turned away from the Kitab and the Sunnah, who have turned towards their whims and their desires and their logic and their intellects. How could you claim you're going to get something from the Kitab and the Sunnah and then you're going to get it from the Mutakallimin? Ibn Abdul Barr rahimahullah, he transmitted an ijma' in his Kitab al-Tamheed. He transmitted an ijma'. The ijma' in which he transmitted was that Ahlul Kalam are people of innovation. He said rahimahullah, ajma' Ahlul Fiqh. He said that the scholars of fiqh are unanimously in agreement. Wal athar, and the scholars of text, min jami' al-amsari, from all over the world, from all of the madhahibs and the different schools of thoughts. And ahlul kalami ahlu bid'i wa zayg, that they are people of desires and they are people of innovation and people of corruption and diversion from the haqq. ولا يعدون, and they are not considered, meaning ahlul kalam are not considered عند الجميع, according to all of the scholars, في طبقات العلماء, they are not considered as the scholars, and they're not put on the level of the scholars. So it's a unanimous agreement. This mas'ala is not mas'ala khilaf in it. Also, Al-Imam Abu Abdullah Muhammad ibn Ahmad ibn Ishaq Al-Basri Al-Maliki, he said Ahlul Ahwa inda Malikin. So if you look at Muhammad Yasir, he mentioned that he's going to quote the A'immatul Arba'ah. Look at the position of A'immatul Arba'ah regarding the Mutakallimin that you mentioned after them in the same breath. Imam Malik rahimahullah ta'ala, Imam Abu Abdullah Muhammad ibn Ahmad ibn Ishaq said, Ahlul Ahwa inda Malik, the people of desires, people of innovation, according to Imam Malik, وَسَائِرُ أَصْحَابِنَا, and other than our followers of the madhab of Malik, was who? Hum Ahlul Kalami, they are the people of Kalam. فَكُلُّ مُتَكَلِّمْ, everybody who's a mutakallim, فَهُوَ مِنْ أَهْلِ الْبِدْعِ وَالْأَهْوَاءِ, they are the people of the innovation and the people of desires. أشعريا كان, whether he is an Ash'ari or غير أشعري, or he is not an Ash'ari, doesn't matter. So Asha'ira are from the mutakallimin, and inshallah I don't want to speak about this topic too much, because I'm going to come about who are Asha'ira, the reality of Asha'ira, and how did they become Ahlul Sunnah, and as they say. And inshallah I'm going to bring the kalam of Al-Imam Al-Miqrizi in his Kitab Al-Khutat, bi'idhnillah al-Kareem. So he said that according to Imam Malik, Ahlul Bid'ah are who? the mutakallimin, such as the Asha'ira. So Imam Malik considered the Asha'ira as Ahlul Bid'ah wal Ahwa. وَلَا تُقْبَلْ لَهُمْ شَهَادَةً. Their witnesses are not accepted. The Asha'ira who Ahlul Kalam and the mutakallimin, their speech and their witnessing is not accepted in Islam. وَيُهْجَرُونَ. They are boycotted. وَيُؤَدَّبُونَ. And they are mannered على بدعتهم, based on their innovation. And Imam al-Shafi'i, which you claim that you're going to bring from him as well, because he said A'immatul Arba'ah. And so Imam al-Shafi'i is from the A'immatul Arba'ah. And what did Imam al-Shafi'i say about the mutakallimin, in which you said right after when you said him? He said, لَأَن يُبْتَلَى الْمَرْءُ, for a person to be tested, بِكُلِّ مَا نَهَى اللَّهُ عَنْهُ, for a person to be tested with everything which Allah has prohibited other than shirk, مَا عَدَى الشِّرْك, other than shirk. So for a person to be tested upon his committing zina, or drinking khamar, or killing, or riba, is better for him to be tested with that other than shirk. خير من أن ينظر في الكلام, than to look into علم الكلام. Imam al-Shafi'i also said, لو علم الناس, if the people were to know ما في الكلام من الأهواء, if they were to know that which is in علم الكلام in terms of whims and desires, لفروا منه, they would have ran from it. كما يفر من الأسد, the way a person runs away from a lion. He also said, من نظر في الكلام, anybody who looks into the علم الكلام لم يفلح, that the person will never find success in this world or the hereafter. He also said, Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah, حكمي في أهل الكلام, my ruling regarding the people of Kalam is أن يضربوا بالجريد, that they are beaten with metal rods. ويطاف بهم في العشائر والقبائل, and that they are paraded in the cities and the towns and amongst the tribes. And then it is said out loud, هذا جزاء, this is the reward of what? من ترك الكتاب والسنة, the one who leaves the kitab and the sunnah, وأخذ في الكلام, and he takes on علم الكلام. So the people of Kalam, they left the kitab and the sunnah. So how can you say that you're going to bring from the kitab and the sunnah and the mutakallimin? الضدان لا يجتمعان. Two opposites don't come together. Good. Also, Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, he said, لا يفلح صاحب كلام أبدا. Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal said, a person who is Ahlul Kalam will never find prosperity and success. ولا تكاد ترى, you will never be able to find. أحد نظر في الكلام, a person who looked into علم الكلام, إلا وفي قلبه دغل, except in his heart there is taint and filth. Also, Al-Imam Abu Yusuf rahimahullah, he said, من طلب العلم بالكلام تزندق. Anybody who looks in seeking knowledge, while he's seeking knowledge, he looks at it through علم الكلام, he said تزندق, he becomes a zindiq. Zindiq is what? من أظهر الإسلام, the one who shows Islam, وأبطن الكفر, and he has hidden in his heart disbelief. This is the stance that A'immatul Salaf have taken regarding علم الكلام. And the mutakallimin, Ibn Abdul Barr, he brought an ijma'. Imam al-Shafi'i rahimahullah, he said their ruling is that they should be beaten. Also Imam al-Shafi'i rahimahullah, he mentions that they are people of innovation, people of corruption. Also, the people of Ilm al-Kalam was stated to us by Abu Abdullah Muhammad ibn Ahmad ibn Ishaq al-Basri al-Maliki, that Imam Malik used to consider the Asha'ira as what? That the Asha'ira, according to Imam Malik, they were Ahlul Kalam, and Ahlul Kalam to Imam Malik rahimahullah, wa Ahlul Bid'ah, their witnessing and their testimony is not taken in the court in Islam. And they're boycotted, and they are mannered because of their innovation. How can you then say, Sheikh Muhammad Yasir, how can you then say you're going to bring your evidences from the mutakallimin, who this is what Ahlul Sunnah have said regarding them? This is the balaya and the masa'ib in which we see. Now I ask you listeners who are hearing this, have insaf and justice in your heart. Be fair. Who is the one who's Ahlul Sunnah? Because we know Ahlul Sunnah are the ones who follow the kitab and the sunnah and the ijma'. And Imam al-Dhahabi rahimahullah, in his kitab al-Ulu li Ali al-Ghaffar, the first volume, page 246 to page 247, he said, فَإِنْ أَحْبَبْتَ يَا عَبْدَ اللَّهِ الْإِنصَافِ, O the servant of Allah, if you love insaf and you're a just person, فَقِفْ مَعَ النُّصُوص, stand over the text, al-Qur'ani was sunan, stand over the Kitab and the Sunnah. ثم انظر, after the Kitab and the Sunnah, what do you look at? ما قاله الصحابة, that which the companions have said. والتابعون, and that which the students of the Sahabas have said. وأئمة التفسير, and the scholars of the tafsir, what they have said. في هذه الآيات, regarding these verses of Allah's names and attributes. وما حكوه, and that which they have informed us من مذاهب السلف, that which they have informed us regarding the methodology of the pious predecessors. They, according to Imam al-Dhahabi, he didn't say look at ilm al-kalam and quote the mutakallimin. He said look at the kitab. He said look at the sunnah. He said look at the sahabas. He said then bring the speech and the understanding of the scholars of tafsir who are going to transmit to us the stance of Ahlul Sunnah, and they're going to inform us of it. Brothers and sisters, هذا هو المذهب, هذا هو مذهب السلف. That is مذهب السلف. As for what Muhammad Yasir is saying, this is the مذهب المتكلمين الأشاعرة وغير أشاعرة. And other than the Ash'ara, and in my upcoming episodes, inshallah ta'ala, I will have more waqafat. I will stand over more of his speeches, which have tammat and have balaya in it. Mallahu bihi alim, only Allah is aware of it. And I will refute them and respond back to them bi'idhnillahi al-kareem. Anything which I have said that is incorrect is from me and shaitan, and Allah and His Messenger are free from it. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.